that score. It's 15-0. The Wildcats will try to add the PAT kick. Brett Wills once again on. He is perfect in that department tonight. Beeler with the hold. Here's the snap, and the kick is up for the senior booter, and it's good. Wildcats lead 16-0. We'll take this break and be back to Raider Field after this. Wills will tee the football up for the Wildcats and kick it out to Southridge. So Wills waits for the official call, and they'll blow the whistle here in a second. Wills approaches the football. Will kick it off here on the near sideline as Kaczynski will take the football across the 20 to the 25, across the 30 before he knocks down a Wildcat defender on the run back. So Kurt Kaczynski, I should say, puts the Raiders in somewhat good field position as opposed to the last time they had the football. We'll see what Ryan Patberg can do here.
A little more operating room here behind you. You don't feel the pressure, right on your goal line, obviously. So the Raiders have got to start getting 2, 3, 4 yards a pop here if they're going to do anything. I think we're going to have a hard time passing against this Jasper defense.
Matt Wagner splits off here to the near side as a wide out. Now Travis Smith, the slot to the left side, split backfield behind Patberg. Patberg over center, takes the snap, will give it to Kaczynski. He'll try the left side, juts the outside, picks up a few before he is driven down across the 30-yard line to about the 33 or 34, depending on where they mark it, but I think they're going to give him a little bit more. They put it on the 35, right smack dab on the line, it looks like.
Good 4-yard gain right there. That's something the Raiders just keep the chains moving. You just can't afford to keep giving the ball back to Jasper. This is just a challenge for the Raiders here to try and get some first downs here and keep the ball away from Matt Mock and Braden Ernie.
2nd and 6 for Brad Hedder's team. They go with the double tight end alignment, quick count. Second man through to Travis Smith, and he does carry the football to about the 39-yard line. Again, knocking off 3 or 4. Travis Smith, a 5'9", 150-pound sophomore. He and Kaczynski, some sophomores back there, along with Ring, a junior fullback.
We've got some good young running backs. I think Coach Hanner alluded to that in the early going. So, this might be a team of the future for the Raiders. Get some experience this year. Get through this game, get on to the rest of the season. Towards the end of the season, we may have a good competitive ball club.
Kaczynski in the slot to the right side. Patberg under center, split backfield behind him. Takes the snap. Once again, a botched handoff, and he is snowed under at the line of scrimmage. He spun, and there was nobody to give the ball to, and he tried to get what he could.
Yeah, that's all you can do as a quarterback. And you turn around, and your running back's not where he's supposed to be. You just got to tuck it and get what you can. The Raiders are going to be in 4th and 3. Will they punt or go for it? I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Hanner go for it.
He has done that previously in this field position so far.
Matt Wagner's our punter, I believe, so, he may, he's lined up at tight end, so we're Raiders going for it.
So Patberg will try to negotiate the 4th and 3 at about the 37-yard line. Here's the snap. Patberg fakes it right. Heavy rush by the Wildcats, and he is hit and brought down. Vince Hildenbrand in on the stop behind the line of scrimmage, and the Raiders turn the football back over to the Wildcats with 2:29 to go in the first period. So the Wildcats take over the football. It's 16-0 here in the first quarter.
Ryan just never really got a chance. He faked the handoff, and by the time he turned around to look to throw it, he was running for his life.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. They have the football at the 34-yard line of Southridge. They go with the trips right side, one back, and that's shown behind Matt Mock. Wow. Mock drops back to throw the football. He's flush, goes right, evades a tackler who's going to tuck it under. That's dangerous. Cuts it back to the middle. He's down to the near sideline. He's got one guy to beat. He turns a corner. Matt Mock is in for a touchdown. My goodness, what an athletic play by Matt Mock.
No flags. Looked like he was going to be contained on the right side. Split 2 Raider defenders. Reversed his field. Came back on the left side for a 34-yard touchdown run. Excellent play by Matt Mock. That shows the athletic ability of this young man. That's why the major universities are coming knocking on his door.
That was an unbelievable play. If I was not mistaken, they sent 3 wide receivers to the right side, and he intended to throw it out there, but a Raider rush forced him to tuck it under, and you may just want to hang back and go into some coverage in that situation.
I'm not too sure what he wasn't trying to set up. I'd like to get in the coach's head here for a second, but if he wasn't trying to set up a screen the way Matt was kind of dropping back, the one lone running back in the backfield, trying to get the defenders to come with him, dropped over their heads, the 3 guys over and right as a decoy, but you know, just a great play by Matt Malk. Individual talent just wins out over there. Just a fantastic play. But, you know, that the trip's right definitely doesn't look like a normal Coach Brewer play.
He got some good interference back here. Once he decided to go back the other way, a guy kind of shielded off his defender and allowed him to get that extra yardage. So a nice block away from the initial play.
Right, open field blocking was very key.
Once again, Wills will be on for an extra point attempt out of the hold of Phil Beeler with 2:15 to go here in the first quarter. Here's a snap. It's high. Wills will attempt the kick. It's up. It's good. It's 23-0 Wildcats here in the first quarter. We'll take another break and be back to Raider Field with more after this. To the near side, Brad Pun splits off to the left side. They've got a split backfield, slot to the near side. Pat Berg will once again be knocked down behind the line of scrimmage at about the 20-yard line. And they're having some trouble with that handoff, and Coach Hayner's going to get a timeout here.
Yeah, somebody's shooting through there. Ryan didn't even have a chance to hand the ball off there. He lost 5 yards there real quick, and you know that's not his fault. Somebody's missing the block.
So high school football here on WBDC. Next week, the Raiders go on the road to Pike Central to take on Shane Fallis and the Pike Central Chargers. The first-year coach, they decided to make a commitment toward football and get a full-time coach in there. The Chargers open up at Washington against Joe Perica's team. Meanwhile, the Raiders obviously playing here against Jasper. A couple of other games of note tonight as Brad Hayner talks to his team. Wood Memorial's at Tecumseh this evening. South Spencer entertaining Gibson Southern. Mount Vernon at North Posey. The Vikings should have another strong team with Jeremy Marvel back at quarterback. In the Big 8, Boonville's at Castle. That's the Wildcats' opponent next Friday. Vincennes, Lincoln, and Princeton. They play a Big 8 ball game to start with. That ball game's always 42-35. You can flip the teams on who wins, but that's always a shootout. In Evansville, Bossy with LeVon Williams taking on North. A lot of teams trying to get back at the Huskies right now, and he'll walk off the field. And the Raiders are forced with a 2nd and 16 staring them in the face. Once again, move back further in their own territory. Football at about the 19-yard line. Kaczynski, Ring, and Travis Smith in the backfield behind Pat Berg. Here's the snap. Pat Berg will give it to Kaczynski. He'll try the left side. Once again, he's stopped on a short gain, a 1-yard effort at the most. And looking at the Wildcat defensive alignment, Joe, they're even rolling up the corners right now and playing an 11-man, 10-man front here against the Raider running game.
I think the way they're looking at it right now, they think they can get to the quarterback anyway if he's going to try and throw it. They're not going to have time to throw it. They're bringing everybody up to the line of scrimmage, maybe keeping one back deep. But you know, the Raiders, just the offensive line can't keep the lineman out, can't give Ryan time to set up the throw, can't give the running backs time to, you know, to make their handoff fakes in the backfield.
3rd and 16 for the Raiders here. They go with the slot to the near side, split backfield for Pat Berg, a receiver to the left side. Now Ring in motion, quick pitch. They'll try to go Travis Smith. He turns a corner. He's got some running room. He gets out into the open, and Matt Mock drives him down near the 45-yard line. So Travis Smith comes off with a big-time run right there.
Showing his speed, got to the outside with a quick pitch, had lead blockers. We got the corner and, you know, got the first down. Travis shows, you know, excellent speed getting to that corner. If not for Matt Malk, Travis may go all the way.
1st and 10, a long first quarter, 1:03 to go in the quarter, and we have not seen the yellow flags fly, if any, tonight, I don't think.
Oh, Kurt, don't jinx us.
1st and 10. They split the backfield. Kaczynski, slot to the right side. Now in motion, Ring to the near. Here's the give up the middle to Travis Smith, and he is ripped down by Matt McComish and Vince Hildenbrand in the interior of that Wildcat defense.
The offensive line, you've got to maintain, or you've got to at least stalemate that defensive lineman to give the running back an opportunity to cut off of you one way or the other. The Jasper defensive line is just teeing off right now whipping the Raider offensive line and just manhandling them and getting to the running backs before they have an opportunity to look and read for a hole.
2nd and 11, 30 seconds to go in the quarter. Football at about the 42-yard line. They shift out of the stack eye and go with the slot and split backfield. Here's the snap. Patberg will give it up the middle to Travis Smith. He bounces off a few Wildcat tacklers before getting 2 or 3 yards. Once again, Patberg spinning around in the backfield, and when they're getting a handoff, it's kind of a question mark.
Yeah, it's very close to where he's getting a handoff. I mean, the Jasper defensive linemen are in the offensive backfield when Ryan's trying to make the handoff. I mean, one of these times they're just going to take the ball right out of his hands. We're here at the quarter break. The Raiders have got to change some things around here in the second quarter.
It's the quarter break. We have played 1 quarter from Raider Field. It's the Wildcats 23, the Raiders nothing. We'll take this break and be back after this. 10 to start the second quarter of action. Football resting at about the 44-yard line of Southridge as they bring it to the line of scrimmage. Double tight ends, punt left. Also off to the right, Matt Wagner. T backfield behind Patberg. Looks over the defense. Long count. Takes a snap. Drops back to throw the football. He's got a little time. Whips it across the middle. Caught by Matt Wagner across the midfield stripe. Matt Wagner snuck open and carried the football once he caught it down near the 42-yard line. Good tight end delay by the Raiders. They've run that a few times as well.
Yeah, it was a good play by the Raiders. Ryan Patberg waited until Matt cleared into the flat. Good gain for about 13 yards.
So 1st and 10 now for the Raiders. They get the pass completion from Patberg to the senior tight end, Matt Wagner. Kaczynski off to the slot, now shifts into the T backfield behind Patberg. Now Travis Smith off to the slot, left side. They use a lot of movement. Now ringing the motion, near side, quick pitch. They set up Kaczynski. He tries to go to the corner, still on his feet down the Raiders sideline before being knocked out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. He got through the initial Wildcat surge and able to pick up a few more.
Pretty well a gain of about 9 yards, it looks like. Caught the Cats maybe looking to the wide side of the field, brought it back short side. Quick pitch to the left side, did a real good job. Gain of 10, first down.
So Kaczynski ran hard on that play. 11:22 to go until halftime. The Wildcats and Raiders hook up in a 23-0 Wildcat lead at this point. T backfield right now. Patberg under center. Looks things over. Now Smith to the slot to the right side. Double tight end. Patberg looks over the defense. Takes a snap. Quick pitch. Right side to Travis Smith. He is met. Bounces off a few tackles. We've got a flag on the football field. 3 Wildcats converge, and Smith kind of snuck right through there.
He squirted through about 3 of them. I don't know what the penalty is here. First one of the evening, but a good play by the Raiders. They're talking to the Wildcat captain, so it's going to be against the Raiders.
He had some good blocking out in front of him and was able to turn the corner and evade about 3 Wildcat potential tacklers, and the flag flew on the football field. Let's see what we got here.
Well, that play was setting up real well. The 2 good running plays the Raiders have run so far, both been on quick pitches, getting some extra blockers out front, and trying to get outside Jasper's contain. And we're not going to run up the middle against Jasper tonight.
Holding violation against the Raiders, and that pushes the ball back near the 40-yard line. Nose of the football near the line, and Patberg meets with Brad Hanner here on the near sideline.
That's something the Raiders can ill afford to shoot themselves in the foot here. Travis had about a 5-yard gain there possibly, and you get a holding penalty. You're pushed back 10. Now it's 1st and 20 instead of 2nd and 5. So that's something the Raiders have really got to concentrate on and keep those penalties to a minimum.
So Patberg sets his offensive team. Brad Pun, the tight end to the near side. Now Smith joins him in the slot to the left side. 1st and 20. Patberg drives back and throw the football off a fake. He's got Smith out in the open. He catches the football to 20, down to the 10, driven down at the 5-yard line. He got behind some Wildcat defenders before Luke Warner finally ran him down. Good pass fake by Patberg, and Smith snuck in behind the defense.
Throws the linebackers. He got out there behind them. Good pass play. He just laid the ball out there, let him come up underneath. It was an excellent play.
So the Raiders inside the 5-yard line on the click from Patberg to Travis Smith out of the backfield. 1st and 5, 10:27 to go, second quarter. Raiders down on the goal line.
this will be a big confidence boost to the Raiders. Not that we're going to win this game if we can get it into the end zone.
Ring carries the football up the middle. He churns inside the 4 to about the 3-yard line. Ring gets a carry. And it'll be second down.
Whether the Raiders will go back to that quick pitch here now, just trying to go straight ahead.
2nd and 3. Pat Berg, quick pitch left side to Travis Smith. He tries to pick his hole. He goes down toward the end zone, but he's once again stopped. That will be 3rd down. A lot of times it's tough to get inside that 10, whether it be passing or running, and then you kind of run out of options as far as your playbook is concerned. A lot of people think once you get inside the 10, you're money, but sometimes it's tough.
Unless you got that big power fullback, a great option quarterback, something like that, you get down, they call it the red zone, whatever. It's tough. You're running out of real estate. You just power it right in.
3rd and 2 for the Raiders at the 2-yard line. Hatberg under center. Takes a snap. Gives it up the middle to Shane Ring. He goes forward for the push. No signal yet by the official. They'll meet, and they're going to mark the ball just short of the goal line. So it will be
4th and 1.
4th and 1.
Inches. It's going to be tough on the Raiders here.
Brad Hanner gets the play into his senior quarterback, Ryan Patberg. 4th and goal. They mark the football just short of the goal line.
The one play that has worked thus far is that quick pitch is to try and get to the outside. I've got to think Jasper's going to be lining up on the outside to try and contain here.
Patberg calls the signals. Takes the snap. Shane Ring up the middle. He goes forward for the mark. Touchdown, Southridge. 1-yard run by Shane Ring.
A delayed call by the referee. He had to get in there, look at the pile, see where the ball was. It was very close. A well-earned touchdown for the Raiders. This is something they can hang their hat on here, Kurt. They can build on this. Going to make it 23-6 right now. Whether we get the extra point, looks like we're going for the 2-point conversion.
23-6. Raiders trying to tack on a 2-spot here. He sends some receivers off to the far side, a twins formation. Pun, the tight end sticks left side. Kaczynski and Ring in the backfield. Patberg will try to get the 2-point conversion off. Drops back to throw. Goes off to the right side. Lobs it toward the end zone. It's tipped away as Ring was the intended receiver. But the Raiders do score 23-6. 8:23 to go in the first half. We'll take this break and be back after this.
Ken Tucker and the Sportsman's Showcase has a Travel America with their celebrity guests to bring you the best in outdoor adventure.
For the Raiders, who put together a nice drive, they mixed a little running with the passing, and they were able to get it done.
Ryan Patberg, when given time, did a good job delivering the football, distributing between, Matt Wagner has 2 catches, and Travis Smith, the 1 long catch for 34. So something the Raiders, I'm sure, will continue to work on. Question is now is how long that Coach Brewer will keep his frontline people in there, up 23-6 halfway through the second quarter.
So Wagner will kick it off right here. Wagner will put a foot into it. Once again, it's a line drive kick, and it will be fielded at the middle of the football field by Matt Mock. He'll take it right back up the gut, and he is gone. He's across the midfield stripe, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 10. Touchdown Wildcats on a Matt Mock kickoff return right up the gut.
What can you say, Kurt? Matt Mock just went, nothing fancy right there. He just found a hole, found a crease, went straight up the middle, and just outran the Raider defenders. Great return by the Wildcats. Come right back after the Raiders took it down for a score to come back, take the wind out of our sails. Matt Mock's an athlete.
He's the deal right there in football. He can do it. He did an outstanding job. He ran. It's easy to sometimes run away from the pack, but he took on the wedge, and the Raider defenders botched extra point attempt. Beeler will be flushed out to the left side. Will fire it towards the end zone, and it's picked off as they foiled the 2-point conversion attempt. Something went wrong between the Wildcat snap and the hold by Phil Beeler. He had nothing else to do.
Snap was high. He had to come up out of the stands. By the time he went to get it down, the kicker's steps were off. He did the right thing. He had a receiver open there. Just throw it to the end zone, see what happens.
29-6. The Raiders will get the football back offensively. So the Raiders do a nice job on the two-point conversion after the mock kickoff return. And the Cats will kick it off to Southridge here as we play here in the second quarter. Coming up at halftime here on WBDC, we'll talk about the 4th annual Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame Celebrity Golf Classic with Ray Howard, the Hall of Fame director, about that upcoming golf tournament and outing. A lot of different people coming into town for that. We'll hear from Ray about that and run down some of the first half action.
Do you play in that golf scramble, Kurt?
I attempt.
You attempt. Okay.
Yes. You have seen me golf.
As have we all.
But I have not hit balls into carts like my partner has.
Surely not.
Here's the kick, and it's angling off to the far side of the football field. It's out of bounds. The Raiders will have their choice on where they want to put the ball to start their series or have the Wildcats kick off again. So let's see what Brad wants to do here. They'll probably just go with the offense and try to get something going. Patberg marches off to the sideline and onto the field, so they'll set up shop and go to work, and Raiders go to work. Split backfield with Ring just a shade in front of the other two in the Raider attack. They give it to the last man through Kaczynski, and he carries it across the 40 to about the 43. Nice run that time by the sophomore Kurt Kaczynski, a 5'9", 150-pound running back.
Did a good job, fake it to the first man, bring it back to the second man, gain of 7 yards.
He did a pretty nice job in the Jamboree. That's where a lot of people saw his effort in those two scrimmages.
We're going to have a bevy of running backs. Once we get Heath Siddons back with Kaczynski and Ring, we've got some kids that can carry the ball.
Short wishbone here for the Raiders, double tied in. They go. Patberg is strung out in the backfield. He's ripped down by the jersey by Vince Hildenbrand on the stop, and also in Mark Pope. And
Jasper is coming.
Line so much is the fact that the play is taking long to develop. They're going with the last man through on that play, and he is a couple of yards off the line of scrimmage. Patberg with Kaczynski in the slot, takes a snap, will option, pitch it off to Travis Smith. He tries to get to the outside, and he's ripped down as he's strung out at about the 36-yard line. Luke Warner in on the stop.
Jasper did a good job stringing the play out. The Raiders are going to be forced to the fourth.
Uppenkamp and Warner back deep for the Cats at about the 35-yard line. Uppenkamp is a tight end, but does have good hands. Long count. Wagner gets the snap, rushes on, angles it off towards Uppenkamp, gets a brief Raider bounce. Uppenkamp will pick it up on the sideline, and he had his foot on the sideline, and they let him bring the ball up the field. And if Coach Brewer sees that in the film, he'll say, "Son, that long, hard snap count." And we had some movement along the line of scrimmage there.
Yeah, Jeremy Shepard's looked to be going in, look for a little encroachment there, but that's going to give the Wildcats, a quick 5 yards.
5:52 to go in the first half. 1st and 5 now at the 40-yard line. Corbin and Friedman once again split off in the wide receiver spots. Uppenkamp, the tight end right side. Mock under center. Takes a snap, gives it to Shelton, right up the middle. The bruising fullback puts the ball on the ground. There's a fumble. The Raiders have it. The Raiders recover the football at the 45-yard line. The Wildcats rarely give the ball to the fullback, and Coach will not tolerate guys fumbling the football. That's one thing that I think drives.
One arm off the ball, and the Raider defender got a hand in there and just kind of popped it out. But fortunate break for the Raiders.
1st and 10. One back. That's Ring behind Patberg. They go with the double slot with Kaczynski and Smith. Now Smith will line up behind Ring in the backfield. Patberg will look to take the snap. Does. Quick pitch right side to Travis Smith. He'll try to get the corner and does briefly for a short gain down near the 42-yard line. So Travis Smith trying to get the shoulder 6. Jasper on top here. They go with the full house T backfield, punt, and Wagner the two tight ends. Patberg looks over the situation. Will ride the fullback, give it to Kaczynski. He's spun around a couple of times, and he goes virtually nowhere on the carry. And it'll bring up another interesting. It's Brad Eckerly.
Yeah, he had Brad Pun floating out.
So Mock sends Jeremy Friedman off to the far side, which is the left side. Goes with the double tight end alignment as Uppenkamp splits here to the near. Mock sprints left side, fires the post pattern down the sideline. Friedman's got it, catches the football, and he dives toward the goal line. And he's got the football inside the 10-yard line. Mock put it right on the nose. with that pass. Got a little air underneath, and Friedman, very good quickness.
Yeah, Brett Sockamp was back up for the Raiders watching the receiver. Never got his head back around to see the ball coming, whether he would have gotten to it anyway. But Matt Malk, an exceptional job just laying the ball out there, as you said, let the receiver run under it, and excellent play.
3:52 to go. First half, 29-6. Wildcats have it first and goal at the 9-yard line. Corbin, the receiver left side. Friedman off to the right. It's a eye in the backfield behind Mock. He drops a throw. Slant pass in toward the middle of the football field. Incomplete, intended for Jeremy Friedman. He's gone to that pass a couple of different times on the goal line.
Looking for that quick slant in. He rifled it in there, had good zip on the ball, threw it on a rope. Just couldn't hold on to it. Couldn't tell if a Raider defender got a hand in there to kind of just tip it away. But Matt Malk's definitely got a gun.
Those are tough passes to defend as well.
If you start cheating the inside to take away the slant, they just kind of out and go, and it's tough to defend on that. If you got a one-on-one situation, you've got to give them that first step on an inside move and then come close hard when you see the ball thrown.
2nd and 9. Once again, receivers split to the left and right with Mock. Uppenkamp, the tight end. Mock, once again, short drop. They go with the screen pass to Uppenkamp, and he is stopped at the 10-yard line. And his little tight end screen as he went to block and then kind of stepped back a little bit. Loss of 2 on the play. Goal at the 10. Eye in the backfield. Friedman to the near side. Double tight end alignment. Shelton. Pitch to Braden Ernie. He tries to go to the outside. He's strung out. Zips it back in and is hit and brought down. And the ball is loose on the football field as well. And Southridge picks it up.
Try and get a couple yards. I can't see anything fancy here. Give it to the first man through. Try a quick hitter. Keep that clock running. Get out of here.
1st and 10. They mark the football and around the 4-yard line, it looks like. They split punt off to the near side here with a guy in the backfield, that being Kaczynski. A slot as well. Hard count by the quarterback up the middle to Shane Ring. He gets some good yardage across the 10 to about the 11. And that split a receiver to the near side. Split backfield with Ring and Kurt Kaczynski. Here's the snap. They give it up the middle to Shane Ring once again. He goes forward for a short gain, and they got the first down, it looks like, with 1:55. So Pat Jasper Wildcats. Mike Markham splits off to the far sideline. Double tight ends for Patberg. Patberg takes a snap, another botched handoff, and he tries to squirt forward through the intended hole. The ball's loose in the gridiron, but I think his knee was down.
I think Ryan was just trying to stretch out to gain a yard or two rather than lose.
So Patberg once again had to go through that hole that the play was intended for, and that's what you're supposed to do.
2nd down, 50-some seconds ago. Just take your time. Let's just get this clock to run out. I would be shocked if Jasper took any timeouts here to try and get the ball back.
2nd and 11. Full house tee in the backfield behind Ryan. Wagner, the tight end, right side. Patberg takes the snap. We'll give it to the second man through, and it's Kaczynski. And he goes to the 19-yard line before he's upended. Under a minute to play here. 33 seconds. The Wildcats do call the timeout here. 29-6. Football at the 19-yard line with 33 seconds. Cats looking for the stop here and getting the football back. Markham goes off to the right side. Ring and Kaczynski in the backfield. Patberg takes the snap, retreats back to throw the football, gets a little time, lobs it across the middle. Matt Wagner makes a catch across the 40 to the 41. Flags fly on the football field as well. Patberg had a lot of time to throw, and it wasn't really in the backfield where holding could have been called. It was like in the middle as the ball was flying over the official's head.
I think they called offensive pass interference on Matt Wagner.
So he was trying to go for the football, and they say he shoved off. Now Brad Hender's meeting face-to-face with the official here on the near with 22 seconds to go.
Yeah, I don't know how many times in this Jasper and Southridge series that you see Jasper score right before halftime. You know, sometimes to take the air out of your sails if it is a close game yet, or just to totally just blow it away.
Corbin and Friedman split off to the left and right, eye in the backfield. Mock drops back to throw the football. Fade pass, end zone. Friedman, touchdown Wildcats. Matt Mock went up top on the fade pass, and he hit his senior wide receiver, Jeremy Friedman.
The team's not going to stack up against the run.
Wiltz provides the extra point kick, and the Wildcats lead it 36-6. So the Raiders will get another opportunity with the football here to close the half. So Matt Mock going to work here in this contest. Give the ball back to Southridge. Ring, Travis Smith, and Kuczynski back deep for the Raiders as they have their starting backfield back there. Up on the front line, Pund, Wagner as well. Darren Schilling also back deep as well. Here's a knuckleball kick down the middle of the football field. Now it bounces off to the far sideline. Travis Smith will pick it up inside the 10, bobble it for a brief second. Now overruns the defense and comes out near the 25. You see that a lot of times when the guy fumbles the football, they overrun on the coverage, and he was able to score it out.
Right, he came very close to breaking it. Matt Malk is back there playing deep safety on that. He kind of trails the entire kickoff with his speed, thinking he's going to be able to track anybody down that breaks free. But, Raiders, look for the Raiders just to run it straight ahead.
Tap. Football at the 24-yard line. Pat Berg takes the snap. Will give it up the middle to Kuczynski, and he squirts out over the 30 to about the 34, as that will be the end of the first half here at Raider Field. So we have played a half of football. It is 36-6 in favor of the Jasper. The second half. Wiltz getting ready to kick the football off here to begin the action. 36-6, Jasper on top here to start the second half. Wells getting ready to get the word from the official, and he does. Kicks the ball high and short, and the Raiders will let it bounce and go out of bounds on the far sideline, and once again they'll pick it up with the 35. And maybe they'll make him re-kick it. Coach Hanner was motioning back across the way to say, hey, let's try it again.
I believe he is going to make him re-kick it. Give Jasper a workout. Make him run back down again.
Well, Coach Hanner elects to talk to the official there and move him back. So the Cats will re-kick. They'll move the football back. Wiltz will pick up his tee at the 40 and retreat back with the rest of his kickoff team. Take it back to the 35 and re-kick, and the Raiders will move up to field this kick.
He's not really kicked it real deep thus far. I mean, what little he has kicked it. So Raiders are gambling if they can get it beyond the 35 here to see if it pays off.
So Wiltz will put a foot into it as he has his kick team ready to go. Here's the kick, and this kick is down the middle, and it is fielded by Travis Smith on the far sideline, and he slips down at about the 31-yard line. He was going up the middle, and he was dropped to the turf.
He was in amongst his own blockers. I think they got their feet tangled up, Kurt, but so Raiders lost 5 yards on that. So, Raiders are going to start out here trying to establish themselves here, get a drive going here, seeing if they can't move the football. I would look to see if we got any clean jerseys out there, but I'd say Jasper still got their frontline people in here, at least for this first series.
They go with the full house backfield, do the Raiders with a double tight end alignment to start the second half. Wagner and Pund are the tight ends. Pat Berg under center, takes the snap. Will give it to the second man through Travis Smith. He tries to bounce it outside, but he's stopped at the 31. It's underway, third quarter of action. Raiders break their huddle and march to the line of scrimmage. Ring, Kuczynski, and also Travis Smith in the backfield. For Pat Bergen, we've got a whistle right now, maybe equipment, as Luke Werner will trot over to the sideline here and may do something equipment-wise. We'll try to get that equipment lined up. I don't know what happened there. Coach Brewer.
I think he signaled to the official, and he blew the whistle. They brought in another player for him, so should be ready to go.
So Patberg underneath the center. Lost.
Bring it back after this.
Back at Raider Field, we lost power momentarily. The Raiders are forced into a 4th and 8 situation, and they are kicking the football away, and Heath Uppenkamp fields this line drive punt at the 35. He tries to turn the corner, gets out across the 44 before he's wrestled down and brought out of bounds by Danny Rauscher.
Good tackle by Danny Rauscher. Got a hold of the back of the shoulder pads. Made a good move on the outside. Almost got to the corner. Danny made a good tackle, bringing him down.
So we apologize for the brief stoppage, and the Wildcats will take over with 9:24 to go here in the 3rd quarter. So it'll be... God.
Patch me into one.
8:44 to go. Once again, apologize for the technical difficulties as the Wildcats are penalized right here as flags flew. We got some movement up front. So a procedure against the Wildcats will push the ball back. They take over, leading 36-6.
Not too sure if that wasn't their first penalty of the game. The left tackle just kind of got a little anxious. I think went on the first hit instead of the second one.
Matt Mock will be under center. He's got an eye behind him, takes a snap, will roll out left side off the play action, dump it out in the flat, and he's got his receiver near the chain as he worked the guy out of the backfield, and it'll be Jeff Shelton, the fullback, who is very versatile as well. So Jeff Shelton makes the catch. So Shelton makes the catch. Mock very good with the play fake.
He does a real good job just hiding that ball. He was rolling out to his left and just letting the receiver clear.
36-6. 3rd down and very short. They go isolation play to Ernie. He goes outside. He gets the first down yardage and much more. Carries it out to the 35-yard line before he's dropped. Red Satcam knocks him down, and the Cats pick up the first down. They'll probably go to the ground here and try to just run the football here.
I am kind of surprised that the Cats still have their front line offense in here, up 36-6 in the 3rd quarter. Normally Coach Brewer has pulled his offense at this point.
Mock under center. Corbin off to the near side. Mock drops back to throw the football, flushed up in the pocket. He throws it across the way, and he's got his tight end, Heath Uppenkamp, and he evades the tacklers, and he's in for the touchdown. On time, 43-6 after the Matt Mock touchdown pass. So Raiders drop 3 guys back. Here's the kick, and it's another short kick fielded at the 15 by Travis Smith. Brings it across the 20, the 25 to the 30 before he's upended, and the Raiders will go on the offensive attack. So Southridge will send Patberg out to try to get something going here with 6:55 to go here in the third quarter. 31-yard line is where the ball is marked. 1st and 10. Split backfield. They've got a slot. Kaczynski to the right side. Double tight end alignment. They call the signals. Ring in motion. Near side. Quick pitch to Travis Smith. He turns the corner. Has a little bit of running room before he's strung out at the 32. For the Raiders. They break their huddle and come to the line of scrimmage. They've got a split backfield. Kaczynski off on the wing to the right side. Patberg fakes the handoff, drops back to throw the football, lobs it down the middle of the football field. Broken up by the Wildcats as the intended receiver was Kurt Kaczynski. Phil Beeler in on the coverage.
Looked like Kurt was starting to break into the clear, but the ball just kind of hung up there a little bit. The Jasper defender did a good job closing, knocked it away.
So that'll bring up a 3rd and 9. Joe with 6:03 to go in the third quarter. Clock continues to tick. Raiders break their huddle, and once again they go with a double tight with a slot to the right side. Kaczynski. Patberg under center, looks over the defense, once again rolls out, drops back to throw the football, tries to hit Shane Ring in the flat, and it's incomplete. Luke Werner dogging him out there on the far sideline near the Wildcat bench.
I think Shane would have
Keep
been
up in camp, and Luke Werner once again. They're at about the 39-yard line. Wagner back at his own 18. Here's a snap. It's a good one. Wagner puts a foot into it. End over end line drive kick. Luke Werner fields it at the 40-yard line. Carries it across the 45. Still on his feet. Goes down the near sideline and is upended at about the 44-yard line. And it'll be a first down as they move the change along that far sideline.
Here again, it's just that quick hitter. He gets through that defensive line so quick. He's into the linebackers in the secondary, and he uses his quickness. I think that there's a lot that can be said for that. You don't mess around a whole lot with the fakes in the backfield. Let your line just get that crease for him and let him squirt through.
The I formation is very conducive to running the football because you got the big fullback and basically one-on-one blocking up front. Eckerly takes the snap. Once again, isolation play to Ernie. He goes right side for a few more down to the 25-yard line. So the Wildcats contend on moving the chains on the ground. A long 4 for the Wildcats. So Cats try to maneuver inside the 25-yard line. Wide receiver to the near side. They give it up the middle to Jeff Schulten. He goes over the 25 to about the 22 or 23. Trying to work the fullback in a little bit. So it'll be first down Wildcats as Eckerly gets the play from the far sideline.
Starting to see a lot more new jerseys come in for the Jasper Wildcats here as they continue this drive. I would hope we see some of the Raiders starting to substitute more freely here in the fourth quarter as well, getting some of our younger players an opportunity as well, although our first unit still needs some work.
Eye in the backfield once again. Ernie Dotz that eye up in camp, the tight end near side. Here's the snap once again. Schulten, he covers that ball up with 2 hands and pulls forward across the 20 to about the 18. Schulten's got some good size at that fullback spot. He is 6 foot, 190.
He's going to get you that tough yard. I still think, I think Coach Brewer right now just coming back to him, giving him the ball, showing that he still believes in him, in this young man, that he can carry the football. I think he had the fun fumble early, But, that's just an unfortunate occurrence. But, he's a good fullback for the Wildcats. Like you said, primarily in that I formation, his responsibility is the lead block.
He came on at the end last year. He sat out the first few ball games with a broken thumb, but came on during the playoff and the late season run for the Cats. They got a slot to the right side, and we've got some movement.
Good, hard-running running back, and he's going to do real exceptionally well for the Jasper Wildcats.
So Braden Ernie ripped off 15 or 16 right there, and it's another first down. Wildcats with under 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
I've got Braden Ernie for 14 carries for 153 yards thus far.
So Brad Eckerly under center. They got a slot. They quick pitch, slot side, left side. Ernie goes outside, now back to the inside. Still on his feet. Braden Ernie's in for a touchdown, Wildcats. Another zigzag play by Braden Ernie.
Run into the I formation.
Phil Beeler will be on to hold. Wiltz back on to kick. Here it is. And the kick is up. And the kick is no good. So the Wildcats lead 49-6 here in the third. We'll take this break and be back after this.
Join Ken Tucker and the Sportsman's Showcase as they travel America with their celebrity guests to bring you the best in outdoor adventure. From elk hunting in the snow-capped Colorado Rockies, or quail hunting on the open plains of Argentina, to the thrill.
Got another touchdown, and Wiltz back on for yet another kickoff. So it's a 49-6 ball game, and Matt Mock will try back onto the field. The specialty teams, they usually don't, no matter what the score is, substitute in those situations, because that's when you get 10 guys or 12 guys or 13 guys in the field. So he'll go back out there on the special team. And he was the last one to go out, and he was probably thinking his night was over, but they never substitute specialty team guys in football on any team.
You rarely do. That's exactly right.
Wiltz will kick it off, and it's a pretty good kick this time. Drives Travis Smith back inside the 10, across the 10, out of the 15. Tries to go to the outside. He's got a running lane. He's ripped down from behind by Small on a good play. He had some green grass in front of him, and Small brought him down. Nathan Small, a 6 foot, 170-pound junior, one of the DBs, got him from behind. That's not easy to do with Smith.
Yeah, Smith has good speed. You saw the crease. There was a lane coming back this side of the field, and made a great tackle. Probably saved, he probably would have gone there 10, 15, 20 yards. Matt Malk was back here playing free safety, getting to wrap up anything that got away, but almost a breakaway for the Raiders.
Kaczynski, the slot to the left side. Pat Berg retreats back to throw the football, and the ball's loose in the play as the handoff once again intended for Smith, and a couple of Wildcats and a Raider pounce on the football. We'll see who's got it. Who's got it at about the 19-yard line.
It didn't look to be like a clean exchange. I don't know if Travis ever really had the ball. All of a sudden, it was just laying there on the floor.
And the Wildcats come up with it as Josh Ware picks it up. So Cats once again will have the football. Raiders got to find a way to get the ball to their running backs a little bit quicker. So with 1:06 to go here in the third quarter. In the third quarter, the Cats take over once again deep inside Raider territory at about the 21-yard line. Brad Eckerly back in. Wildcats substituting their tailbacks. Here's the pitch, and the pitch goes back to Aaron Beekline, a 5'10 sophomore, and he's stacked up. Brent Schuler in at fullback as well for the Wildcats. A couple of sophomores behind the junior Eckerly. So with 47 seconds to go in the third quarter, Cats going with that running game with some young guys in the lineup.
Well, here again, this is an opportunity for them to get a chance to see their young kids in game situations. So, this is what Coach Brewer's wanting to see right now. Corey
Seidel split off to the right side, also an eye in the backfield once again. Here's a snap. Eckerly gives it up the middle to Beekline. He gets one or two. The Wildcats faced with a situation that Southridge has been faced in recent years sometimes. Other schools do not have enough for JV and even freshman teams. Even in the Big Eight these days, the freshman schedule has been altered immensely because teams can't even field a freshman team anymore. So these games with the sophomores and some of the freshmen getting varsity-wise is pretty good.
Yeah, it means a lot at that point. Like I said, the freshman schedule, I know up to a couple years ago, we had no or a very abbreviated freshman schedule. I don't know what it looked.
Ball at the 17, Eckerly, or a new quarterback into the ball game. It'll be Alex Bonert, a 5'11 sophomore, who's played well in the JV portion of the season so far for the Cats. He gives it to Aaron Beekline, the last guy through, and he has stopped. So Schuler and Aaron Beekline in the ball game, along with Alex Bonert. 4th and 9. Some more white shirts come in and out of that huddle. (49-6). Bonert gets the play from the far sideline. Bonert's got a slide off to the left side, double tight end. Quick pitch to Beekline. He'll try the left side, tries to get the corner. A couple of Raiders out there, and they drive him out of bounds. Ben Hewitt out there, also Satkamp, Matt Wagner providing some support as well from that end spot on the nice read. So the Wildcats go out on downs, and the Raiders will take back over. Hatberg will go in to play quarterback, and he might finish this one out just for the fact to get him on the field for 4 quarters, because he did not play very much last year. Tuliski took a majority of the snaps, as we talked about before the ball game, with Hatberg only being 1 for 3.
Right. This is his first year, a full season at quarterback, but this is an opportunity here to play a younger quarterback, a Mitch Stetter, who's sitting there, that if Ryan Papper will get hurt, you might get him a few repetitions in this game as well.
And go with the full house backfield, the original backfield starters into the ball game. Patberg will go back and give it to Travis Smith. He tries to break one tackle, but he is ripped down by Luke Werner. Werner on that linebacking spot came up to make the stick. Cats shoveling some guys in defensively as well right now. 2nd and 9. 10:27 to go in this one. The Cats on top, 49-6. Patberg with 2 tight ends, Wagner and punt to the left and right. Patberg takes the snap, drops back to throw the football, play action, fires it across the middle. The ball is picked off. Looks like Matt McComish picked it off, and he drives it down deeper into Raider territory on the pick. A lot of congestion in there in the middle, and if you throw the ball in the middle, I'd like to see him throw it over the guy's head, never throw across the middle where you underthrow it.
Right, that was just a situation, I think, where it seems like we're sending one receiver out, and Ryan doesn't have a whole lot of choices there, but he just underthrew Matt Wagner there on that one. Didn't catch the number. I think it was 76 for Jasper.
Yeah, Matt McComish.
Matt McComish. So, another opportunity for the Cats.
Ball at the 9-yard line once again. Alex Bonert in a quarterback. He's got an eye behind him. Ball given to Aaron Beekline. He plunges forward. He goes into the pile. 1 yard on the carry. So it'll be 2nd and 8. Second and goal. Bonert sets his team. Joe Kress splits off to the near side, one of the sophomore wide receivers. Bonert under center, quick pitch right side. Beekline tries to find a hole, goes outside and finds the running room scarce here late in this one. And the Cats trying to work on their base plays and trying to get that blocked right.
See if he'll let the young quarterback throw the ball here. He's going to be faced with about 3rd and 7, 3rd and goal from the 7-6 yard line. So see if he puts it up in the air here.
And a pretty good game in the JV game they had with Vincennes Lincoln the other night on Monday evening, did Alex Bonert. Corey Seidel splits off to the near side as a wide out. Eye in the backfield once again for Alex. Quarterback sneak up the middle, and he will be stopped, and it'll be 4th down. So the clock continues to tick. It'll be 4th and 5 at the 5-yard line. So Boner to bring his team to the line of scrimmage here. Double tight end formation. Seidel is the wide out right side. Boner will give it on the isolation play. And in on the stop.
Matt Winder in on the stop, I believe, Kurt.
So the Raiders stop the Cats here, and they'll have another offensive possession. Ball on the 5. It'll be 1st and 10 Southridge, and Mitch Stetter's going to trot into the lineup, it looks like, to quarterback the Raiders. Stetter, a 6'1 sophomore.
That's a good move by Coach Hanner. Give this youngster a chance to play, see what he can do with the first unit out here.
Takes a snap and gives it up the middle to Kaczynski on the play. And Kaczynski goes right up the middle for a decent gain, and it'll be 2nd down. 7:59 to go, under 8 minutes to go in this one. 49-6, both teams going with the ground attack, and that'll run the clock down in a hurry in one of these games. Stetter takes the snap. We'll give it up the left side. Looks like Shane Ring, or Travis Smith, I should say. And Smith gets a short gain. So Raiders have the ball at the 15-yard line for a 1st and 10. Stetter getting a workout. They got the ball on the far hash, and he comes over to check the play with Coach Hanner every time.
It's a long way to run.
Got the radio helmets in the NFL. 1st and 10.
I don't think we have those here.
Maybe we can tell him what to run. Stetter takes a snap. Gives it up the middle to Kaczynski. The ball is fumbled, picked up by the Wildcats. Wildcats pick up the fumble, and it's Danny Mitchell recovering the football. It didn't look like the ball carrier had a firm grip on that one right at the get-go, Joe.
Yeah, a lot of times that'll happen. You get your new quarterback in, the handoff's not quite right there, maybe even a little high, hit him in an elbow, and the ball just squirts free. Unfortunately for the Raiders, the game's really getting away. It's 49-6. If the defense, defense has made a couple of good stands here against the 2nd and 3rd units of the Cats. But the Raiders are getting some young kids in. Coach Hanner's tapping Kaczynski on the helmet. He's just, okay, son. It's just like, we'll come back, work harder.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Once again, deep in Raider territory. Boner takes the snap. Will run right up the middle on the quarterback sneak and go up near the 12 or 10-yard line before he's pushed down. 7:03 to go in the contest. Raiders at Pike Central next Friday will be on the air at 7:15 from the bench. This Thursday, as we talk about this game and the upcoming game with the Chargers with Coach Brad Henner, will be Thursday night at 6, so we can make way for Notre Dame football when the Irish travel to Vanderbilt on Thursday. Bonert negotiates a 2nd and 7 situation. Here's the snap. He fakes the handoff and gives it to the fullback. And John carries it, Kyle John, and he was met rudely at the line of scrimmage.
There's a flag down on the play, Kurt. I think they're talking to the Raiders here.
Talking to John Minke about that violation. 2nd and 7. And we got a holding violation against the Wildcats.
Decline.
And the Raiders declined that as they made the nice defensive stop. Ball at about the 12-yard line, 3rd. 3rd down and 9 for Boner. Here's the snap. Boner, quick pitch. They go to John, left side. He tries to get the corner, and he's met by Brett Satkamp and a few other Raiders down near the 7-yard line. Danny Rauscher in on the stop as well. .602 to go as the clock ticks away. 3rd and 4. Or 4th and 4, I should say. switch the markers along the far sideline. Adam John dots the I. Bonner will run the quarterback sneak, and John Minke just stands him up. Joe Spencer met him as well. So Wildcats not fancy with it. They're going to run the ball and not even make the hand up. Trying to get the clock down, and the Raiders will take back over on downs. So the football about the 5-yard line.
I think the Raiders still have their first unit backfield in there with Mitch Stetter to give him some additional work. Brad Pun, Matt Wagner. It pretty well looks like our first unit other than Mitch.
Stetter takes the snap, gives it up the middle to Kaczynski, and he carries it across the 10, about the 11 or 12. 5:19 to go. 49-6, able to get some distance between they and the Raiders. Matt Mock played well early, as did Jeremy Friedman, one of his main targets on offense. Braden Ernie also carried the pigskin for some big gains. Stetter takes a snap, will give it to Shane Ring. He tries it right up the middle before he's hit and brought down by Derek Young.
Coach Hanner just took Matt Wagner and some of the frontline people out, giving our younger players here a chance in these last 5 minutes of the ball game. So, hats off to Matt Wagner. He was an all-conference selection last year. I know he's out there trying his hardest, just a little overmatched here, a lot overmatched against the Cats tonight.
Stetter, quick pitch. He goes to the outside. Kaczynski once again left side, and he's strung out and once again wrapped up out near the 20-yard line.
The Raiders are running hard. Shane Ring's got 9 carries for about 23 yards. Kirk Kaczynski's working on 11 carries for 52 yards. Travis Smith about 12 carries for 40 yards. So, Coach Hanner's just trying to find some young men out there who want to run the football and run hard.
So Stetter brings his Raiders to the line of scrimmage. Ring, Smith, and Kaczynski in the backfield. They go pitch left side, and it's Travis Smith. He gets the corner before he's tackled by a shoestring by Joe Kress on the stop.
Maybe no gain, a loss of about 1. Looks like possibly should have come inside. Looks like he had a couple blockers outside. He kept trying to string it outside instead of cutting back and letting his lineman kick that man out, and then he could, wheel back out to the sideline if he could have. But Raiders are trying to move the ball here. It's going to be 3rd and 7 here with the 3:38 mark. So it'd be nice to see this, with Mitch out there right now, get a first down, maybe get another first down. I'd like to see him let him throw the ball, just see what he can do.
3rd and 7. He sends a receiver off to the near side. Now in motion, Smith sets up in the slot left side. Stetter drops back to throw the football, throws it out in the flat, and it's almost picked off by Heath Uppenkamp, the linebacker here on the near side, as the receiver went one way and the pass went the other.
Yeah, a little more air underneath that. I think the receiver was open on a slant pattern coming in. That outside backer just kind of stepped in there and knocked it away. But, the young quarterback, he's a sophomore. I think we're looking at the future for the Raiders at quarterback, whether Ryan Papper continues the season at quarterback or Mitch Stetter comes in later on. I think that those two are going to have a lot of good competition as the season goes on at the quarterback spot. But, Ryan Papper is our quarterback right now. He's going to get most of the repetitions during the week with that first unit. So, Mitch Stetter just trying to get a little work just in case of an injury down the road right now.
So the Raiders are forced with a 4th and 7 situation right here. Coach Hanner called the timeout as he talks with Stetter here on the near sideline. Stetter, a sophomore for the Raiders. And the Wildcats are done with their huddle, and Coach Hanner continues to meet with Stetter as the Raiders look to be punting in this situation, and Matt Wagner will drop back to punt. Luke Warner and Heath Uppenkamp reside at the 45-yard line, still inside Raider territory with 3:18 to play. Wagner waits. Here's the snap. Wagner will put a foot into it. A heavy Wildcat rush. Skies this one into the air. Luke Warner will field it. He was hammered on the play by Kaczynski. The ball is loose. Danny Rauscher picks it up, and he'll go down the near sideline. He's sprinting. Phil Beeler will ride him down at the 21-yard line. We've got a flag on the football field. And it'll probably be against the Raiders because the ball was in the air and Werner got smacked.
Yeah, Kurt Kaczynski, I believe, came in and just leveled him. There was no fair catch signal, but you got to give him the opportunity to catch the ball, and he just leveled him. That one's coming back. That's going to go to the Wildcats.
Kaczynski was the first guy down there, and the ball was in the air. And sometimes that's a split second by the time the guy gets there, and it's a judgment call. But that time, Kurt really waylaid him.
Probably would have been a good idea for the receiver to call for a fair catch there. But, Kurt Kaczynski's pumped up. He's coming downfield. And you're trying to time it, as you said. And, he got there a hair too soon, and that's going to come back.
Under 3 minutes to play in this one. It's a 49-6 ball game, and this will come back and see what they elect to do here. Wildcat captains meeting with the officials out near midfield. And they'll mark this one off. And it'll come back.
I would say that's going to be a thing. That young man there, it worked out for the Cats there. It's coming back. The Raiders going to have to punt again. But, he may think about a fair catch next time on something like that.
If you know Luke Werner, he may not. He's a tough one. Werner back at the 41-yard line, and he and Uppenkamp, and I'm sure Coach Brewer will tell him to call for a fair catch as well. So Wagner will drop back into the end zone after the penalty. He's back in the dark right now. New lights didn't cover the end zone, but it's great to have the new ones in here. We got them last year at the Gibson Southern game.
Yeah, it's better, but could be quite a bit better.
Wagner puts a good foot into this one, lets it bounce, and it takes a Wildcat kick as it goes back near the Raider end zone, and it'll start at about the 29-yard line with 2:51 to go. 26-6, Heritage Hills over Tell City to start the season. So Bob Clayton's Chargers with the new quarterback, Jade Warren. Going when they have a junior, they have a freshman. Started with John Yoakum, then it was Peter Yoakum, and now Winchell and probably Simon Yoakum.
Yeah.
And players before that, they line their guys up.
They do that, and Coach Clayton, he identifies those kids early on. You're really trying to put your best so many times your best athlete is you're going to be your quarterback. He identifies those kids early and he brings them along.
Boner takes the snap, pitches back to John. He goes outside, now back up the middle, a la Braden Ernie, and he is hit and brought down with 2:14 to go. So
you look at those kind of programs where you can just see these are their athletes. These are the kids who are going to be the skill people position as when they're freshmen and sophomores. They're going to be able to step in right as their junior year comes around. And that keeps the program coming. You're not constantly replacing with one-year people.
Right. You like to have the sophomores come on and then play as juniors and seniors. Here's a snap, and it's given up the middle as a new quarterback into the ball game for the Wildcats, and it's Jimmy Hensley, a 5'10 sophomore with 1:37 to play. So if you put on a uniform tonight, you probably got into the ball game. So it's a first down as John carried it forward. Hensley under center. He's got a receiver off to the far side. Here's a snap. They give it back to John. He plunges forward for a few more down near the 12-yard line with 1:17 to go. Probably take one more snap, and that'll be it tonight. So under a minute to play now. 49-6, Cats on top. These two teams playing out the string here. Here's a snap and a little mix up in the backfield, and John carries it forward for 2 or 3 yards. And they'll mark the football.
Probably the last play of the ball game here, Kurt. But like you said, everybody's gotten in the ball game on both sides of the ball, I'm pretty sure. So, it's a good opportunity to play your young kids, let them get a little taste, and maybe get that first game jitters out of the way.
First and goal at the 9. Bonert under center. Takes a snap, pitches back to the second man, and that's John, and he's stacked up. Tries to go left side, and he was hit and brought down with 29 seconds to go. I don't believe that might be it. They're going to huddle up real quick. He may come to the line of scrimmage and
it
just
looks like they're going to try and get that last play out of here.
Shut her down. So Bonert comes up the line of scrimmage. He sets his team. Here's a snap. They give it up the middle to Aaron Beekline. He goes forward, and that'll do it. 49-6, our final score here at Raider Field. The Wildcats prevail in the opening game here in the 96 football season. The two teams will meet at midfield to talk about this one as Coach Brewer and Coach Henner do the same. So the Wildcats win it here at Raider Field. We're back with the scores.
After the tough loss to Jasper last week, Joe looked to bounce center. Double tight end, full house backfield. They will give it to Travis Smith. He'll try the left side, and he's hit and brought down near the line of scrimmage by Andy Smith, who doubles as the fullback.
Probably a loss of 1 there by Travis Smith. The defense did a real good job letting the dive man go through. They were sitting there waiting for that second handoff. So look for the Raiders to come back, maybe just go over some quick hitters. They've been doing that all night long. They've been riding that fullback, coming back, giving them the second man. Quick pitch was working first half. Look for them to come back with that as well.
Second and 12. Raiders looking to negotiate. They're in Charger territory. Pat Berg takes the snap, left tackle ring. He squirts forward and was tripped up and lost his footing as he goes forward. Down near the 32-yard line, they mark it back a little bit to about the 33, 34-yard line. Let's see. When they finally mark it, it'll be third down for the Raiders. And about 9.
This is where the Raiders like to go up top, look for the tight ends again. Matt Wagner, Brad Pun, maybe on a crossing pattern by Brad Pun. That's what they scored the touchdown on. Matt Wagner's basically been catching the ball across the middle, so I'd say those are your first 2 options.
Pat Berg has got a full house backfield behind him. Takes the snap. Will go to Pat Berg. He'll try to squirt to the outside around the left end and go forward. He's not near first down yardage as he used the keeper there.
Yeah, Raiders are probably definitely going to go here on fourth down. You're down about the 29-yard line. You got fourth and about 6. I've got to think the Raiders are going to go for it here.
Pat Berg had some backs squirt up into the line to try to give the defense a good look there, and now it's fourth down. To that left side, the near side, as far as the short side of the field is concerned, to lead the blocking.
He did a good job cutting it back. I'm not too sure the referees are huddling over there if they're thinking he may have stepped out of bounds before he got to the yard mark. He did.
Oh, Coach Hanner's over there, and he had a good look, and now they're going to say Pike Central is held on down. He had the first down yardage. If he did not step out of bounds, that's across the football field from us, and Coach Hanner's not very happy.
Yeah, he had good momentum. He was running hard. He made that spin move. When he planted that foot, he may have stepped just a little bit close to that sideline. And unfortunate for the Raiders, he had a good head of steam up. He had the first down. Of course, we can't comment whether he hit the sideline or not, but Coach Hanner obviously didn't think he did.
First and 10, Chargers at the 26-yard line, their own 26. So back on the field, Ben Johnson, Trent Whitehead in motion to the right side. They give it up the middle to the fullback, Andy Smith, and he goes nowhere. John Minke and Dale Meyer in on the stop for the Raiders. Joe Spencer up there as well.
I like the play that Matt Wagner makes. The quarterback hands off. He goes ahead and hits that quarterback. You're not sure. He's doing a good job taking the ball. Hit him anyway. Ooh, that was a close one, Kurt.
Yeah, we've got some lightning all over the place. Now the officials may stop this ball game.
They may take a little time here, and let's get the kids off the field.
Ready to start the Raiders with a nice pass play from Patberg to Shane Ring out of the backfield to pick up the first down, and the Raiders trying to mount a rally after the Chargers taking a 13-6 lead.
Raiders have a good drive going right now. Kurt started on their own 35. They're down to about the 31 of Pike Central. need to keep banging that right at him. Just take it to him, get this touchdown, get this game tied up, or take the lead with a 2-point conversion. This game's a long way from over.
1st and 10. Football resting at about the 31-yard line. Off Pike Central. Pat Berg with a twin backfield behind him, a slot to the right. Now Spencer in motion, right side, quick pitch, right side. Travis Smith will try to pick a hole. He goes off right in. He sprints around the corner. Travis still on his feet. He's turning to the end zone. He's going down the right side, and there's a flag on the play. He's in there for the touchdown, but this one may come back with the reaction to the Raider bench across the way, and Brad Hanner is on the football field.
We had a hold on the outside. I couldn't catch the number of the Raider player, but he definitely held the Trent Whitehead on the outside, who was turning that play in. Just got out there and held on to him. So, unfortunate play for the Raiders. They've had 2 touchdowns called back now because of penalties.
This will really go back. Smith had a nice play set up as they went with the motion man, Spencer, to try to lead some interference, and they go back with the football on the penalty. Off the slide on the right side, they go double tied in with a twin backfield split behind Ryan Patberg. Patberg takes the snap, will give it right up the middle to Travis Smith. He goes forward to about the 40-yard line. A very short gain of about 2 or 3 on the play. Met up the middle by Derek Singer and the rest of the Charger defensive line.
Raiders going to be facing about 2nd and 18 here. Could go up top, could go back to the quick pitch. It's been successful other than some holding penalties. That play's really been busted for a couple big ones. But Raiders definitely need to keep this drive alive.
2nd and 18 for the Raiders. Full house tee backfield behind the senior quarterback. Patberg looks over the Charger defense. Here's the snap. We've got some movement up front as they give the ball to Travis Smith off tackle right side. And it looks like it. So 2nd and 23 from the 45. Patberg brings his team to the line of scrimmage. Brad Pun shifts off to the near side, which is the left. They've got a slot Shane Ring to the right. Deuce backfield behind Patberg. Takes the snap, will drop back to throw the football, sprints right. Patberg lobs it up in the air, overshoots Matt Wagner at about the 35-yard line. He had him out there open, but couldn't connect, and it'll be 3rd down and 23.
The Raiders need to really work on it. I've got to think Coach Hanner will go for it on 4th down when it comes to that. Try and get about half of it back this play. You don't have to try and get it all back at once. Try and get about 10-yard completion, put yourself in about 4th and 10, and if you're going to go for it on 4th down, although you might be in a position if you could really bury them deep in their own end zone to get the ball back in good position for your defense to hold.
3rd down and 23. Wagner now goes off to the right side. Pun the tight end to the left. Slot to the left side. Short drop for Patberg. Lobs it down the far sideline for Wagner. Tipped away by Trent Whitehead. He might have saved the touchdown. Trent Whitehead, one of the smallest players on the field, was running step by step with Matt Wagner at the last second, jumped up and knocked the ball away.
Not too sure they weren't trying to take advantage of a size bench match there and get it in a jump ball situation. Hopefully Matt can go up there and get it. Raider defense needs to take some chances here. Send some linebackers. The quarterback's not had a lot of time to sit back here and throw. You got to defend against the fullback, obviously, but Whitehead's their speed. If you can get to the quarterback before he has a chance to set up, I think that's the way you need to go.
1st and 10 for the Chargers at about the 10-yard line. Ben Johnson under center sends Whitehead in motion. They give it up the middle to Andy Smith, the big fullback, and it's a short gain, if any, for the big bruising senior.
Yep, that's what the Raiders need to do. Just jam it up inside. Don't give that fullback any room to run. You've got Dale Meyer right there in the middle, just jamming everything up inside. Just watch Whitehead. Don't let him get outside.
2nd and 9 for the Chargers. Johnson under center. Got a fullback behind him now. Whitehead in motion to the left side. Johnson will be hit and brought down behind the line of scrimmage. John Minke in there on the stop, and he gets the quarterback sack. Also Shepherds as well. Big play there by the Raider defense.
Got him back to about the 1-yard line, maybe the 2-yard line. Great defensive play by the Raiders.
It'll be a 3rd and long for Southridge. 14 yards, or for Pike Central, I should say, 3rd and 14.
Will Pike Central take the chance and air it out from their own end zone? Will they run it right ahead? You could force them to punt from their own end zone.
Johnson under center. Twin wideouts. Johnson will run it right up the middle. They stump him, and they drive him back very close to the goal line. Raiders pushing for that safety, but he's going to get it out of the end zone. And it'll be 4th down, and you're right, they'll have to punt out.
Yeah, good defensive stand by the Raiders here. They're going to punt. He's going to be standing very close to the the end line of the end zone. If he steps backwards, Raiders are going to have a safety and get the ball back anyway. So you'll definitely see a full rush on by the Raiders here.
Here, back deep is Travis Smith at about his 30-yard line. Johnson will be back to punt for Pike Central. Low snap. Johnson loses control of the football, and they will have to settle for the safety, just what we talked about. It's 13-8 after the Chargers botched the snap.
You know, they could tell the Raiders were definitely coming on a rush.
And also Kaczynski drops back for the Raiders in this situation.
They will tee it up and kick it off versus punting. They've been angling it toward the sideline. We'll see if they do. Now, I'm not sure after a safety, if it goes out of bounds, where the Raiders would get the ball. If it'd be the 45 this time.
They kicked the ball off a little bit farther back. Johnson put the foot in it. It's a line drive kick and fielded by Travis Smith. He'll try to take it up the middle. He's still on his feet, carries the football across the midfield stripe. He's down the far sideline to about the 35-yard line. So the Raiders will start in good offensive position to begin this drive after the good run back by Travis Smith. A lot of times on line drive kicks, guys can bring it right up. Awful night for football after the halftime break with the lightning and rain. Patberg will send his team in a full house backfield. Punt and Wagner, the 2 tight end alignment. Patberg, the senior, sends Joe Spencer in motion. They pitch it weak side to Travis Smith. He's still on his feet, goes down the right sideline before he's wrestled. They've got the football down at the 23-yard line of Pike Central. Patberg with the full house tee backfield. They give it up the middle to Shane Ring. He rips off a chunk of yardage. He gets a substantial gain on 1st down. So a nice run by Shane Ring. Raiders would like to get one in here right now. With 8:24 and counting, 13-8, the Chargers on top. Line, you're right. Full house backfield, Ring, Smith, and also Joe Spencer. Here's the snap. They give it the first man
position here. They'll go for it on 4th down if need be.
3rd and 4 from about the 15 or 16-yard line. They got a motion man and a slot. Deuce backfield behind Patberg. Spencer continues his motion, and they go quick pitch to Ring. Right side, tries to pick a hole, and he's upended. He is short of the 1st down. Once again, Derek Singer over there on the stop, and it'll be 4th down for the Raiders. Deucer to the right. Smith and Ring in the backfield. Patberg takes the snap. He will roll out to the left side. Look down the football field. He's got a receiver out in the open. He's hit and brought down. Looks like short of the 1st down yardage as Shane Ring got out there in the flat. 7 or 6 yards. 2nd down and 8, they say. 5:58 to go and counting in this one. Patberg under center with the full house backfield. Double tight ends. They ride the 2nd man through Smith. He's got the end zone corner. He tries to turn the corner. He is in there for the touchdown. Travis Smith on the...
He saw there was no one out there. He uses speed to get to the end zone, the corner of the end zone. Raiders take the lead, 14-13. Look for him to go for 2 here. Try and make that 3-point spread, although I don't think we have to worry about a field goal being kicked in this kind of weather right now.
So Travis Smith, the 8-yard run, gives the Raiders a 14-13 lead with 5:52 to go in this contest. Second and 8 was the call, and the Raiders got the touchdown. Now the 2-point conversion attempt. Patberg under center. He has a full house backfield behind him, trying to convert the 2-point conversion. Patberg, quick pitch right side. They try to get Kaczynski to the outside. He flips over the goal line for the touchdown. Or extra point, if you will, and the Raiders do tack on the extra point. And they lead in the ball game 16-13 on the 2-point run on the nice quick pitch.
On the 8-point touchdown plus 2-point conversion plus the 2-point safety, the Raiders jump back up in the lead here. Defense has got to come up big. We need a good kickoff. Try and kick it towards the sideline. Don't give Trent Whitehead an opportunity to run this thing back a la Matt Malk last week. Kick it towards the sideline. The sideline is your friend in this situation. and just make a good coverage or even kick it out of bounds. Let them start on the 35. The defense is playing well.
So the Raiders get on the board. They get the touchdown and leading the ball game. Here is the kick, and it's a good kick by Wagner. Davis will come up and field the ball at the 30-yard line, carries it across to the 35 to about the 36, and that's where the Watts and double wide out. Smith, the lone running back, behind him. Johnson a long count, Whitehead in short motion to the left side. They give it to him left side. He turns the corner. He tries to get the corner, does, still on his feet. Carries again. The Chargers go with that wide open formation. Johnson fumbles the snap, and I think he got right back on it. There's a mad scramble for the football. The Raiders side, Davis the wide out here to the near side. Kleinert back behind Ben Johnson. Movement up front. 3rd and 6. Davis and Whitehead split wide to the right side. Johnson sends Whitehead in motion to the right. Here's the snap. Johnson option near side. Pitches it to Whitehead. He turns the corner. He gets out in the open, and he carries the football near the first down chains at the 45. Joe Spencer in on the stop. Good execution that time because Johnson got pummeled, and then he got the football off to Whitehead. Read the option well.
Very well. He pitched it right as he got hit. It was almost direct. It wasn't a forward lateral. It was just...
Raiders on top by 3. Double slot, wide out to the left and right. Kleinert in motion to the near side. Johnson has trouble with the snap. Now drops back to throw the football. He's hit the 3-yard line of Pike Central. Once again, the wide open run and shoot. Kleinert in motion to the right side. Johnson takes the snap and gives it up for him. He is on the slot to the near side. Now goes in motion, left side, goes behind the fullback. Johnson will try the option play, left side, pitch it back to Whitehead. He's up in the middle linebacker spot. Whitehead in motion to the far side. Johnson takes the snap. He rolls out. They got a halfback pass on Davis on the football field. He's open, but they missed him.
There's a flag.
Stand for Johnson. Double slot, wide out to the left and right. No tight ends in the offense. Johnson, a long count under center. Looks over the defense, takes the snap. Ben drops back to throw the pass. Picked off by Kurt Kaczynski. He'll race down the near sideline. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 5. Touchdown, Kurt Kaczynski on the pick. And we've got a flag on the play, but after the interception and touchdown, Johnson tried to throw the slant to Davis, and Kaczynski stepped right in for the pick and the score.
There's a flag down. I think they're going to allow the touchdown. I don't know what. Pike Central defender was closing hard. Matt Wagner went to block him and keep him off. I don't know if they're going to call an infraction or what kind of an infraction is going to be. A personal foul against Southridge.
After the interception, as Kaczynski brought it all the way back.
It's not really going to matter. If they allow the touchdown, we're up more than they can make it up in this amount of time. If they take the touchdown away, we're still going to retain the ball. We're just going to fall on it 3 times, and the game's over.
So the officials get together and decide what they're going to do. 22-13 if the touchdown stands with 1:09 to play. And the Raiders look to be going for the 2-point conversion right here after the touchdown on a run back by Kurt Kaczynski. So they got a full house backfield once again. Hatberg underneath the center. Takes the snap. Quick pitch left side to Travis Smith. He's in for the 2-point conversion. Make it 24-13 Raiders. Put the foot in longer penalty. Yes, a major violation. He's still walking all the way down at the 34-yard line. So with 1:03, the Chargers will go to work offensively with Ben Johnson leading the way. Double slot, double wide out formation. Trent Whitehead in the slot to the right side. Davis, another good wide receiver to the right side. Smith in the backfield behind Johnson. Johnson looks over the Raider defense, gets the snap, drops back to throw the football, fade pass down the left sideline to Davis, knocked away by Kyle Kaczynski, among others, back there playing defense.
Yeah, good defensive play. The Raiders secondary just laying back. They know they've got to throw the ball. We got a Raider defender down on the play. I think he just got a cramp right now. They're working on his legs, so we got a little break in the action here. But had good pressure on the quarterback there. Got to him. Maybe lost it a little bit more. Maybe throw it a little quicker than maybe he wanted to. Ben Johnson's had a long night. He looks like he's holding his back. He's a tired young man.
Yeah, he's worked hard both offensively and defensively tonight for the Chargers. He's made some key throws. We heard about his running skills. They haven't really ran him that much, and he's not gotten a very good yardage when he has, but he's put the ball on the money a couple times in the passing game.
Yeah, I've got to think they'll go vertical here. They've got to try and get Whitehead to the end zone here. They've got to go deep, hopefully get a penalty, a reception. They've got to score quick. They need 2 scores.
2nd and 10 with 58 seconds to go. Football resting at about the 34-yard line. Kleinert and Davis split off to the left side. Whitehead, the receiver, to the right. Johnson looks over the defense, takes a snap, retreats back to throw. Heavy rush, he's hit, and he'll go down. Matt Wagner and a couple of other guys met at the quarterback spot. Danny Rauscher in there as well, and now we've got a timeout on the football field. Field, not because a lot of fans, but because of the boomers overhead. Johnson with a 3rd and 18 after the Charger timeout. He'll need a big play here. Ben gets the football, drops straight back, continues to retreat, screen up the middle to Trent Whitehead. He's got it, but well short of the first down yardage. He's down near the 35-yard line. They still have a big portion to go here on 4th, and it'll be about 7 or 8 yards. They quickly come out of the huddle with 30 seconds to play, and once again, official timeout.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and 12. They definitely got to go downfield to Whitehead, unless they use him as a decoy and go to the tight end or someone, but they haven't used anybody else, other than number 88 as well. They just got to, they've got no choice.
And the official takes the snap, bobbles it, it's loose in the football field. It's not going to matter who recovers it because this ball game is virtually over as the Raiders have the football, and with 20 seconds, back to wrap things up from Weathers.
Jim Oberstar is joining us today, and at least one of the recommendations in this report benefited greatly from ideas contained in legislation that he introduced in the Congress. There are 3 other congressional liaisons that have been named by the Republican and Democratic leadership in the House and Senate, and I wish to thank them as well. As we continue our work, we will identify longer-term funding needs to boost aviation safety and security. This is only the first interim report, and I want to emphasize that. We have our next meeting in 2 weeks. We will have a series of meetings between now and the next report that we have scheduled to make to you in February the 7th, and I want to hasten to add that since this was set up by executive order, I personally hope that we'll be presenting the report to you. It's going to be presented to the President of the United States in February. But let me talk briefly about 2 themes contained in this plan. First, we find that in improving aviation security, there is no silver bullet or single magic answer. There's no single technology, process, or change in procedure which by itself will address the security challenges that we face. So we're presenting a combination of approaches, some high-tech, some low-tech, even some no-tech. Secondly, we're keenly aware of the frustrations that many, including some on our commission, have felt over the years. They have seen previous attempts to improve security sometimes get bogged down in disputes between government and the private sector. Often, legitimate differences of opinion kept the 2 sides from ever reaching agreement. And the losers in this stalemate were the traveling public. It's time for that to change. So we're proposing that government and industry come together in a new partnership where traditional barriers are eliminated, where energy and resources are focused on one thing and one thing only: results. This new partnership is, in fact, our first recommendation. We propose that at each of the nation's 450 commercial airports, the FAA immediately convene all those with a role in providing and improving security at those airports. These people will come together as partners, working jointly to assess the vulnerabilities at their airports and implementing changes that will address those weaknesses. We recommend a number of steps that will help make these partnerships work. We propose to improve the flow of intelligence and to make sure that everyone who needs to have information can get it. We call for criminal background checks of all workers with access to secure areas at airports. We call for the certification of the companies and individuals who provide security services at our airports with clear standards set. To help track would-be terrorists and to target our resources more effectively, we call for the development and use of passenger profiling systems. And we recommend that other government agencies such as Customs, the FBI, ATF, the State Department, and the intelligence community become more involved in aviation security. They have tremendous resources and expertise that have not been fully brought to bear on aviation terrorists, and they should be more involved, and they will be with the implementation of our recommendations. Now, I want to note that some of our recommendations will impose costs on the airline industry. Full bag match will cost money. More extensive background checks for screeners and other employees will cost money. But, Mr. President, we work closely with industry to identify the most effective and efficient ways to deal with these issues. And I'd like to compliment the industry for the cooperative approach they have taken to working with our commission. While there will be cost to industry, I want to note again that we're recommending over $400 million in public funds for enhancements. This new commitment to security is a partnership, and all of the partners will make an investment. Mr. President, you asked for a plan to deploy technology to detect sophisticated explosives. We have answered that call. Of the funding that we recommend, over $160 million of it is for the purchase and installation of devices to detect explosives, systems that can be put into place with little or no waiting. As I said earlier, no single existing technology provides all the answers. The systems that we have seen have strengths and they have weaknesses. We've evaluated each one of them very thoroughly. While we can improve security by getting these systems into place now, we also must push the development of new generations of machines that will provide even greater enhancements. That's why we call for the establishment of a new government-industry partnership whose mission will be to accelerate the development of new anti-terrorism technology. And there are an awful lot of very promising leads. And while we work toward more high-tech equipment, Mr. President, let me close by re-emphasizing our commitment to action. We may never be able to end terrorism, but we can do an awful lot to fight it effectively. This commission has shown what can be done given the resolve, the will, and the mandate. You gave us that mandate, and now we pledge to work with you to turn this plan into action. Here's the report.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me begin by thanking the Vice President and the Commission for all their hard work and for this excellent action plan. This is partnership at its best, government and private citizens, Democrats and Republicans, joining together for the common good. As the Vice President has said, we asked the members of this commission to do a lot of work in a little time. They rolled up their sleeves, they delivered. We know we can't make the world risk-free, but we can reduce the risk we face, and we have to take the fight to the terrorists. If we have the will, we can find the means. We have to continue to fight terrorism on every front by pursuing our three-part strategy. First, by rallying a world coalition with zero tolerance for terrorism. Second, by giving law enforcement the strong counterterrorism tools they need. And third, by improving security in our airports and on our airplanes. The Vice President's action plan goes to the heart of this strategy. So I want everyone to understand that whenever this plan says the Commission recommends, you can understand it to mean the President will. Today, I will direct the Federal Aviation Authority to instruct their personnel in the field to convene immediately those responsible for security at our nation's 400.
Soften that defense to get the linebackers to kind of move in towards the middle a little bit. Then you come back with that quick pitch to open up on the outside or a veer or slant to the outside.
2nd and 8, football at about the 22-yard line. On the tight end left, Wagner flips to the right side at the tight end spot, long count, and a flag on the football field. The Chargers look like they jumped that time.
The Raiders just got that 5 back. They gave to him a little bit ago on a procedure penalty. So that's twice that Ryan's caught him with a either just kind of a head bob, just changing his snap count a little bit, his voice a little bit, and getting him to jump.
And Mock did that a little bit last week. Now the ball at about the 17-yard line for a 2nd and 3. With 10:50 to go here until halftime. Double tight end for Pat Berg looks over the Charger defense to negotiate this 2nd down situation. In short, Pat Berg takes the snap, bobbles the football, it's loose in the field. Both Charger and Raiders pile on top of it, and we'll see as the officials go in to try to navigate in there and see who's got it. Chargers say they have it, the Raiders don't argue, and it's Charger football. That time, Pat Berg, it wasn't somebody dropping it. It was a situation where he just lost the handle.
Yeah, I don't know whether he got hit, bumped, or whatever, just lost the handle on the football and was laying there right behind center. It was in the scrum, and whoever got on the bottom of it just kind of wormed their way back out with it. So, Raider defense has got to come back on the field. So,
scrum, I like that. You watch some rugby a little bit.
Rugby,
Yeah.
I'm a rugger from Wales. So.
No. 2 wide out to the right side now for Ben Johnson. Trent Whitehead, and they give it to him as he motions left. He tries to go around the corner, and he does for about 3 or 4 yards. That's something that they tried to work on earlier, but had some trouble in the backfield. And you mentioned them going in with that motion and then giving the ball to that motion guy right there.
Yeah, that's something that, they're trying to just get him to the outside. He's probably their quickest player, so, they're just trying to see what works right now. They're still trying to establish a running game.
2nd and 7, ball is about the 27-yard line. Whitehead and Smith, who has good speed, split off to the right side, a slot as well to the far side, one back behind Johnson, the senior. He takes a snap, drops back to throw the football, bomb down the near side. He overshoots Smith as Kurt Kaczynski was back on the coverage. Smith had a couple of steps, but Johnson really aired that one out and overshot his man.
Yeah, the first time they had the wind, he had the wind with him here. They're going to probably try and exploit that here now in this 2nd quarter.
Chargers threw a little wingback pass as their own touchdown last week against Washington to Smith, who was going down the sideline there. So it's 3rd and 7 for Shane Faustus' Chargers. Football resting about the 22-yard line. Takes the snap. Johnson once again retreats back, flushed out. Will look for the screen. Now he pulls the ball down, and he'll try to run for his life, and he's hit and brought down well short of 1st down yardage. So good job by the Raiders secondary people by closing the lanes. And Johnson, who looked to have the screen in mind, had to pull it down and go for the sideline.
Yeah, they were letting those linemen come through, but somebody stayed at home, was kind of defending against that screen. He had nowhere to go. He did the right thing, just tucked it and ran. No gain, maybe picked up 1 yard. So Pike Central's going to be forced into a punting situation here. Here again, they may fake, especially now. All right, they just call a timeout. If we have a timeout or not.
Yes, looks like it. Or maybe an equipment timeout or whatever. The officials are talking, but the coaches are not out in the field talking to their team.
So many times after, on timeout, if we're going to try a trick play or something, that's what they'll come out with it. But, if he's coming to the sideline here now, they may be setting something up here. Wins with him. He's your quarterback. He may air it out here and go for the 1st down on a punting situation.
Johnson looks like he's limping off the field, met with one of the trainers as he came off, and he's their main punter, and they bring somebody else into the ball game as well. That's a big blow if he is injured by any stretch.
That's Jared Gideon coming in as a center, a backup center, so...
I would say they may be punting now.
I would definitely say so.
Travis Smith drops back at about the 50-yard line, 49. He's been very courageous on his run-back attempts so far in this football game. Gideon, as you mentioned, drops back to punt at about his 10. Here's a snap. It's a good one. Raider heavy rush. A nice kick. It's high end over end. Smith will let this one bounce. It takes a Charger kick down to the 45, and that's where it will stop at about the 44. So a good kick by Gideon as he, once again, had the win, as you talked about. And that's where Southridge will take over. So the Raiders were driving earlier, albeit to have the football fumbled, and they'll go back to work.
Travis made the right decision there, not to mess with the football, get away from it. You're going to get great field position anyway. It was a little bit of a short kick, high kick. You probably weren't going to get a real good return on it anyway. So the Raiders are going to start in great field position at the 44, almost the 45-yard line. So look for them to come back out, go right back to the running game, quick pitches, just really come right at them.
1st and 10. Raiders lead 6-0 in this PAC battle. Pat Berg with 2 tight ends. Takes the snap. Will give it to the second man through Ring. The ball's loose in the football field, and there's another scramble. The Chargers might have it.
I think the Chargers did get this one again, Kurt.
Again, the handoff was not clean, and there was a lot of mixing up in the backfield.
Raiders have got it back. They're signaling second down.
Pat Berg, it looked like, got the football after he had the handoff slip out of his hand.
Very fortunate there to get the ball back. Looks like the Chargers had first pop at that ball on the ground. Ryan was faking the first man. Looked like he was trying to hand it with his opposite hand to, I couldn't see if that was Travis or Kurt, but was not a clean handoff.
2nd and 11, football at the 44-yard line. Raiders once again come to the line of scrimmage. Pat Berg with punt to the left side, quick pitch. Kurt Kaczynski tries to go right side, carries a couple of Charger defenders down near the 49-yard line, a gain of about 5 on the play, and this will bring up another passing situation.
It's going to be about a 3rd and 6. Here again, this is a situation I'm not too sure we're in. We're not in 4-down territory. If he goes with a run here or a pass and don't get it, this is the part of the field where Coach Hanner has exhibited before that he'll go for it.
3rd and 6. 7:43 to go until the halftime break. Football at about the 49-yard line of Southridge. Pat Berg sets his football team, takes the snap, will give it to the last man through, Kurt Kaczynski. He is wrapped up in the line of scrimmage, squirts forward across the 50 to about the 49, but it will bring up a 4th and about 4 for the Raiders, and as you said, I think they might go for it as Pat Berg trots over to the sideline, especially the way the defense has been playing pretty much in the early parts of this game. It would be a nice 4th down situation to try.
Yeah, it looks like he's sitting in his punting team, but I think Matt Wagner is your kicker, a la Nick Trubisky last year. I mean, Nick was your quarterback and was more apt to throw. Matt Wagner's a pretty good little athlete out there. It wouldn't surprise me to see him throw.
Pat Berg go off the field, and Wagner will come in. Whitehead goes back deep for the Chargers at the 25-yard line. Wagner will take the snap. They snap it to the short man, Shane Ring, the fullback, and he's hit and brought down. They do not make it. The Chargers smelled that play off. Ring was back as the intermediate fullback, and they snapped it right to him and never got to Wagner, and Shane, the fullback, ran it right up the middle, and he was stopped. Good play by the Chargers.
Yeah, it was a good defensive play by the Chargers. It's just no secret that Coach Hanner won't hesitate to try it on a punting situation to go for that 1st down. It was a good direct snap to Shane Ring, and just couldn't break away from that man. So Raider defense has got to step up now and stop the Chargers. Don't give them any life here.
Football at the 47-yard line. Smith, the fullback, behind Johnson. Twin receivers to the left and right. Johnson at a hard count. Takes the snap. Will give it up the middle to the big fullback, Andy Smith. He's right up the middle. He rumbles down to about the 31-yard line. A good run by Andy Smith. He has played a few years as well, a 6-foot senior, 195 pounds. He and Johnson played for the bulk of 4 years and for a lot of different coaches, but they're pretty good players back there.
Well, they've been around a long time. These athletes have there's a lot of pride on the line here. They want to show that they're not, that they can compete here with the Southridge Raiders.
Ball at the 30-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Chargers. Johnson over center will roll out and hit behind the line of scrimmage and brought down by Jeremy Shepherds from that inside of the Raider line. Johnson looked to want to fake the handoff and run, but Shepherds once again made the nice play.
They're getting to the quarterback. The fullback on the quick hitter straight up the middle. The Raider defenders are getting to Johnson and making him make quick decisions and throwing him for a number of losses. It'll be 2nd and about 12. But here again, I look for Johnson to try and be better off. There's a quick straight drop back. Keep Smith in there to block for him and look for his receivers.
Double wideouts once again. Davis and Whitehead to the near side. Smith the fullback. Now Whitehead in motion to the left side. Johnson will option that way. Johnson keeps the ball, and he's pounded by Wagner. It's loose in the football field, and Whitehead, who was in motion, was able to pounce on it.
Raiders did a good job. They covered the quarterback, they covered the pitch man, they covered the fullback. There was nowhere for it to go. The play was stumped from the very start for no gain.
When you only have one guy in the backfield and a motion man and they run the option that way, there's not too many opportunities for Johnson to explore. It's either keep it or pitch it, and the Raiders, as you mentioned, did a nice job as Shane Fallis, the head coach, calls a timeout for this very important 3rd and 11 with 5:12 to go until halftime.
So many times, you're running any kind of an option to make decisions. If your defense isn't covering the right men, you can break it. Your quarterback can get one going here. Getting a little lightning out here right now, Kurt, so I don't know if we may have a delay here at halftime. I don't know.
5:12 to go, 3rd and 11. A big play for Pike Central football at about the 31-yard line of Southridge. Johnson with the one back behind him. 2 receivers, now one in motion to the left side. Johnson takes a snap, reverse. Whitehead will try to go to the right side. He's got some running room. One guy to beat, and that guy ran him down. Good play by the Raiders. As Mike LaGrange came up, he stayed home. He was drifting back to cover receiver, and he saw Whitehead coming his way and just stepped up and leveled him.
Good job one-on-one tackling in the open field. I really kind of thought our defensive end got blindsided in the pile there. You can block him from the backside if you're within 5 yards, so it was not a clip, but he's got to maintain outside containment and not let. You've got to watch for that reverse of the end around.
4th and 7 at the 27-yard line, it looks like. Chargers with double wide receivers. Smith, the lone running back. Johnson drops back. He will tuck it under, and he is hit and brought down behind the line of scrimmage. The Raiders with a good pass rush. Brian Blessinger in there to knock him to his feet. Also in on the stop for the Raiders was Jeremy Shepard. We've called his name a lot. Ben Hewitt also in there sniffing that play out, and the Chargers turn it over on down.
Looked like he was taking about a 2 or 3 step drop. He showed the ball. I wasn't too sure that he wasn't going to tuck it and run. Never did look like it was a smooth drop-back pass situation. So good stand by the Southridge Raiders here. Coming up on halftime, 4:22 mark. Raiders, it'd be great to see the Raiders get another big drive going here and get another score right before halftime.
Football at the 30. Brad Pun splits off wide to the right side. Slot Kaczynski to the far side. Split backfield. Now ring in motion to the fire. Pat Berg, quick pitch. Right side. Travis Smith has a convoy of blockers, and he trips over one before picking up a short gain.
Yeah, quick pitch. Coach Hanner keeps coming back there. You get a 4-yard gain. He'll take that. No questions asked every play. He's just trying to get outside, contain it, get outside that defensive end, hopefully get Travis into the secondary. And Travis has already carried the ball 10 times for 92 yards, so getting good work out of the young man.
I thought that was their best play last week.
It was. You're just trying to get out outside the tackles. If you don't think you can go head up, tackle, try and get outside, get a lead blocker out there, you might bust one.
Football at about the 33-yard line. Once again, a slot to the right side. Pat Berg takes the snap. He'll try to wide option, and now they go right inside with the handoff, and Travis Smith, it looks like, got the football. Or Kaczynski, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looked like an inside counter there. He had nowhere to go there. He was kind of caught for about a 2-yard loss. The Raiders are going to be forced about a 3rd and 9 situation. So possible passing down here again. May look to see Pat Berg go back to that hard count, maybe a 2 count, try and catch Pike Central, jump and get an easy 5 yards. But this is a big play for the Raiders here, big play for the Pike Central Chargers. If they can stop, they're going to get the ball back in great field position.
3rd and 10 at the 33. Once again, double backfield, slot to the right side. Pat Berg will drop back to throw the football, lob it down the far sideline, knocked away, ball intended for Kaczynski, and it's loose in the football field, and they call it incomplete, it looks like.
Yeah, the pass kind of got caught up in the wind. It looks like he was kind of floating and hanging there. I think our receiver, I think it was Kurt Kaczynski, as you said, was open downfield a little bit, but the ball just hung up a little bit too much. The defenders closed real well. Once the ball's in the air, you're taught to close as a defensive back, and they had 3 or 4 guys there all around the ball and had no chance really to catch it.
4th and 10 now, and the Raiders drop back to punt the football with 2:49 to go. Wagner to drop deep for Southridge. Whitehead back at about the 47. Wagner to put a foot into it. Line drive, kick against the wind. It's a good booming kick. Whitehead just lets it bounce. It takes a sideways kick at the 30-yard line, and the Raiders will down it. Pretty good kick there by Matt Wagner, given the fact the wind is blowing against him.
Into the wind, had a good spiral. Whitehead had really no chance to feel that. It was over his head from the get-go. He didn't want to take a chance and field one over the shoulder, fumble it, give it right back to the Raiders. So, Pike Central's got the wind with them here with 2:37 to go in the half. I look for them to try and go back to the air, quick drop back, give him about a 3 or 4 step drop, 5-step drop, and try and go to his receivers. Other than the one run by Smith at the 17 yards, the Raiders have been doing a real good job stopping the run.
Davis and Whitehead split to the near side. Smith, the lone back behind Johnson. Johnson will give it up the middle to the big fullback. Smith still on his feet, tosses and turns to about the 38-yard line. Gain maybe about 9. He's awfully close to the first down marker, but not quite there.
You know, he's a good hard runner, Kurt. He's a stocky young man. He's hard to bring down by one guy. You've got to take his legs out. You tackle him high, you're not going to bring him down by yourself. So you need to hit him low and hopefully you got help.
2nd and 1 from the 38-yard line. Davis and Whitehead split to the near side. A couple of receivers with a fire. Smith the lone back behind Ben Johnson. Long count for Johnson. Quarterback sneak right up the middle. He gets the first down, it looks like, across the 40 to the 41 with a minute 54 to go in the first half. Raiders lead 6-0 in this PAC battle. They went up top with a 14-yard pass from Hatberg to Brad Pun with 6:57 to go in the first quarter.
Here comes Pike Central with a bit of a hurry-up offense here now, trying to catch the Raiders off step here.
Once again, receivers flip to the left and right. Johnson looks down the line of scrimmage. Ben drops back to throw the football. Throws to the near side. Whitehead had it bounce off his hands at the 47-yard line. Defended on the play by Danny Rauscher and also Kurt Kaczynski.
I really thought on the play before that, on the second and short, that's kind of a throwaway down. I'm surprised they didn't try and go along there. An incomplete pass stops the clock. You can come back and get the first down on the 3rd down and short. If you want to try and pop one long on a second inch is a second one, a prime opportunity to give that a try. 2nd and 10 now with a minute 37. Once again, deuce receivers to the left and right. Johnson under center. Long count by the senior quarterback, Ben. Drops back to throw, but then goes with the draw to Smith. He carries the football across the 45 to about the 46. Once again, Johnson showed the ball high as if to pass and then ran the draw. Hurry-up offense once again for Shane Fowles and the Chargers with a minute 20. They set. Now trips to the right side. 3 receivers to the right side of the field. Johnson takes the snap. Rolls out. He's flushed out of the pocket. Rolls right. Runs for his life. Throws it down the near sideline. Whitehead all alone. He caught the football. He reverses his track back to the left side of the football field. He goes to 10, the 5. He is gone. Touchdown, Pike Central. I don't know how he was open by that margin. I think the defensive secondary came up. They thought Johnson was going to run the ball. And just got behind him. And once he got in the secondary, he showed his speed, and he was gone.
So a touchdown from Johnson to Trent Whitehead. You're right. Johnson was scurrying for his life, and everybody came up to try to stop him. But that time, the defensive back got to know that their job is to protect against the pass.
Exactly right. 54-yard touchdown pass right there, Kurt. That's the situation. They've just got to keep those guys in front of them.
The extra point kick is up, and it's good. And it's a
no good.
No good, they said. 7-6 or 6-6 our ball game as they say he missed the extra point kick, but a good pass play from Ben Johnson to Trent Whitehead. So the Chargers tie this baby up.
First completion with showing the 1 minute mark left in the second quarter here, Kurt. This thing's all knotted back up. The Raiders got to put that play out of their head. They were doing a good defensive game plan. They just let Whitehead get away, and then with his exceptional speed, once he got into the secondary, he was gone. So look for the Raiders probably to take this. Unless they get a great return here, I would expect the Raiders just to keep it on the ground, run the clock out, and bring it back for the third quarter. And Pike Central will get the ball back to start the third quarter, so they've got momentum here now. They're going to go into halftime. They're pumped up. They're ready to go. They're going to get the ball back to start the second half. So the Raiders have got to regroup at halftime. There's a 6-6 ball game and nothing to hang your head about. But we're in a dogfight.
Yes, the Raiders are. Kaczynski, Smith, and Shane Ring back to field as Ben Johnson kicks. Johnson kicks the football, angles it once again, near sideline. Ring will catch it at the 15, brings it across the 20 to the 30, sprints forward, and he is hit and drilled at the 31-yard line. The Raiders go to work with 55 seconds to go until halftime. Ring went right up the sideline. That time he had to field the ball. That one was not going out of bounds.
Well, yeah, that's the situation. All you're using there is you're kicking it towards the sideline. The sideline is an extra defensive player for you in that situation. It wasn't going to go out of bounds. You really got little room to work with, so a good play by the Pike Central Chargers.
Patberg once again with the full house backfield. They go right side to Kurt Kaczynski on a quick pitch. He turns the corner still on his feet and wrestled down by the shirt sleeve by the outside linebacker of the Chargers, Derek Singer, a 6'2", 195-pound senior. 5 yards the carry for the Raider tailback, and now they go back to huddle up with 33 seconds to go until halftime. We are tied at 6.
This should be the last play of the game unless there's a penalty here, Kurt. I don't expect the Raiders to put it in the air. I would be shocked.
They go with the full house backfield. Patberg takes a snap. He does drop back to throw the football, throws it across the far sideline. Ball is picked off by Kyle Kleinert. Kleinert brings it down the near sideline. He is hit and brought down. Flags on the football field. The Chargers have it with 10 seconds to go in the first half. The flag was after the interception. Kleinert was right there, and he picked it off.
Yeah, it's going to remain Pike single ball. I don't understand that play. Odds are you're not going to score going that far before half with under 20 seconds to go. Run out the clock, give it a halftime, you're dead even. Here you're giving Pike Central an opportunity with 11 seconds to go. They've got an opportunity to run 2 plays here. If the penalty's against the Raiders, they're going to get a lot closer. They're down, what are we on, about the 25-yard line, although they are talking to the Raiders, so we're going to back them up here a little bit. But, I don't know. The old Woody Hayes philosophy, you throw it up in the air and 2 bad things can happen, 1 good thing. It's just kind of a situation, I don't know.
I thought Coach Brewer made that up. I knew somebody before that. Yeah, he likes to subscribe to that theory. Yeah, they're going to back it up, as you mentioned, Joe, all the way to the 40-yard line. But with Whitehead and Johnson company, everything's an adventure, like last play.
You've got Whitehead out here right now.
He is deep as if to play safety. He's like 10 yards behind the quarterback. Johnson looks to take the snap. He may just sit on it here to end the half. Now they're going to try that play. A slant pass to Davis. They try the lateral, but it doesn't materialize, and Davis carries the football to the 25-yard line. They had Whitehead right behind him, but Davis could not hook up as they kept a good eye on Whitehead.
I'm not too sure that wasn't what they were thinking about there, though.
You're right, they were. That was a good call.
Kind of a Statue of Liberty situation there.
I never seen that. That's usually the play where they sit on it for the half or the end of the game or whatever with a safety about 15 yards behind the quarterback to make sure nobody
fumbles the ball. Sure. But, they might come back with that now. That might be a situation. They showed it once, and it wasn't the lateral, but I think in that kind of a formation, that's what you got to be looking for first. Kind of just a hitch and go, whatever you want to call it. But, he's going to lateral that back to Whitehead with his speed. He can be gone, but they're on the 23-yard line here, Kurt, and this is a dangerous situation here. He can lob it to the end zone. You get a defensive penalty. They get another crack at it. Raider defense has got to come up big here. I wouldn't be surprised.
Whitehead go to the right side. Johnson under center. Smith the lone back in the backfield. Now in motion. Whitehead goes to the far side. Johnson will drop back, roll back to pass, fire it down the near sideline. He's got Davis in the end zone. Incomplete as he overshot it. He tried for the one-hand grab, but couldn't come up with it. He was open on the play, and that's how the first half will end. A very entertaining first half, especially the last quarter of play here at Weathers Field, as both these pocket athletic teams hustle off the locker room with the wind blowing and a threat of rain and lightning break and run down the play in the second half. Ben Johnson gets the play from Coach Shane Fowles along the near sideline, and he'll bring his team to the line of scrimmage. Football at about the 18-yard line. He sends Davis and Kleinert to the far side. Whitehead as well in a wideout spot. Now they send short motion. Johnson will give it up the middle to Smith, and he goes nowhere.
Raiders seem to signal there might have been a fumble on the play. I haven't seen the officials. They're signaling second down.
Might have been at the last second, but we'll have a second down. So Johnson back directing his team. Second down for the Chargers. No gain on that first play, it looks like. Short one, if any. Johnson looks over the defense. One back, that's Smith behind him. Johnson